is optimize DOS batch performance with Rocket Performance. My name is Sal Capizzi, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Rocket Mainstar and OpenTech for ZOS product family. With me is Jason Zhang, who's the marketing for various solution areas. Our main presenter today is Sherry Killian. Sherry is a Rocket technical sales consultant who's had quite a bit of experience helping customers install and utilize the Performance Essential product. We plan to show you today how Rocket Performance Essential increases system-wide performance, ultimately leads to improved user access to data. All this is accomplished with no manual modification to applications. If you have a question during the session, you can type into the bottom right-hand window, select those questions, and answer them at the Q&A section. So today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website very shortly, probably within the next day or two. With that, Eric, let me hand it over to you and presentation.
Thank you, Sal. Some of the business challenges facing us today are the online availability requirements. There is a high demand for access to information and the most current data. Service level agreements have become more stringent. Service level agreements have become more stringent and can be costly if not met. Many application activities have a system-wide impact, and tuning them can be difficult. In addition, batch windows are getting smaller, yet new applications continue to be developed, which can cause further bottlenecking by using extensive I/Os. There's little to no time to research and optimize these batch jobs as needed. There are many factors that compound availability issues. Data mirroring for parallel access is not always an option for the multiple competing needs for data access. In a batch environment, buffering requirements vary for data sets. Manually finding the optimal allocation of buffers for each data set can be tedious and time-consuming. The task is complicated by changes in transaction load and data mix. Inefficient buffer allocations result in an increased I/O workload that can slow programming processing. Root causes are inefficient I/O characteristics. The I/O workload increases further in a vSAM application due to the way in which vSAM processes updates. During an update, vSAM immediately rewrites the control interval, the physical block containing the logical record being added, updated, or deleted. Instead of buffering the block of data and writing it only once after updating it, many times vSAM generates I/O to the data set during each update. This wastes considerable time and resources. There's also significant overhead involved in loading a vSAM dataset. Typically, vSAM record management loads a vSAM dataset by formatting each control area before actually loading the data. If the data set is KSDS, vSAM record management also rereads upper-level index records and updates and rewrites the records for each sequence set record written. This extra I/O creates additional overhead and uses significant system resources. There are a number of reasons why optimization of I/O is important, and we have listed some of the top reasons here. Application growth must continue to process within the window constraints we have today. Business needs can be out of alignment with the application design. In addition, legacy applications are becoming more integrated with e-business, and more data centers are being consolidated or acquired. Businesses are extending without upgrading their systems. I/O optimization saves time, and time is money. Batch processing is composed of CPU cycles, memory, and I/O. Reducing current resource usage without purchasing more hardware would require the existing work to be rescheduled or applications to be rewritten. So how can I/O constraints be reduced to improve batch elapsed time? Rocket's Performance Essential product helps you optimize your buffer allocation for vSAM and non-vSAM datasets. The buffering algorithms and default settings of Performance Essential result in significantly reduced EXCP counts, which frees channel and CPU resources for other tasks. For all files accessed sequentially, Performance Essential allocates adequate buffers while the file opens. For vSAM files accessed directly, Performance Essential allows you to selectively or globally invoke deferred write, DFR, or shared buffer, LSR processing at the system, job, step, catalog, volume, or even the dataset level. Additionally, for vSAM loads, Performance Essential reduces instruction paths and minimizes I/O for dramatic reductions in elapsed times, EXCP, and CPU time. Performance Essential enhances the load function of any program that loads data into an empty vSAM cluster, including AMS's repro, import, and build index commands. Performance Essential uses efficient, proprietary I/O routines to reduce instruction paths and minimize I/O. I/O is the most expensive resource in the system due to the fact that it is much slower than any operation that can be done in cache. High I/O operations cause slower performance, causing the system not to utilize its maximum capabilities. Performance Essential is installed as a persistent subsystem. It intercepts the open and close of any dataset and optimally buffers vSAM and QSAM datasets to reduce system overhead. Buffers can be allocated to all or specific datasets at the dataset, volume, catalog, step, job, or system level. In other words, Performance Essential can be installed in one of two modes. The first mode being implicit. This is where Performance Essential will optimize all I/O for the programs running unless it is told otherwise not to intercept. In explicit mode, Performance Essential will optimize only those programs that are specified. Performance Essential improves vSAM and non-vSAM performance by automatically tuning and adjusting the buffers. For vSAM loads, Performance Essential reduces instruction paths and minimizes I/O for dramatic reductions in elapsed times, EXCPs, and CPU time. Performance Essential enhances the load function of any program that loads the data, again, into an empty vSAM cluster. For all files that are accessed sequentially, Performance Essential allocates adequate buffers when the file is open. There are no modifications needed to the application programs, datasets, or JCL. Performance Essential is an automated batch I/O tuning solution which significantly improves performance for the vSAM and non-vSAM batch processing. Batch elapsed times are easily reduced in a range of 25 to 75% and sometimes even higher. Performance Essential accomplishes this by using a control repository that allows you to suppress processing for specified data sets. With the control repository, a variety of parameters can be indicated for specified control entries, such as the amount of buffer space allocated to the data set, whether to force LSR or NSR processing for vSAM data sets, whether the data and index components of vSAM datasets should reside in different buffer pools, whether or not to force sequential insert strategy when updating vSAM datasets, the percentage of the vSAM buffers backed by hyperspace storage, and whether to perform Performance Essential processing to load a specific dataset. As part of closed processing, Performance Essential may create entries in the control repository if the entries do not exist. This occurs if Performance Essential determines upon monitoring vSAM processing that either LSR or NSR will be better suited for the type of processing than the option that is currently in use. Next few slides represent benchmarks from actual customer sites running batch jobs without and then with Performance Essential. This first slide shows statistics for batch VSAM functions. The reduction in CPU usage ranges from about a 44% reduction up to an 86% reduction. This slide shows statistics for non-VSAM batch functions. The reduction in CPU usage ranges from about a 41% reduction up to a 47% reduction. The last slide on CPU usage statistics are for VSAM load functions. The reduction in CPU usage is much higher for VSAM loads, as you can see here. CPU usage shows about a 78% up to an 85% reduction. Performance Essential also has modeling capabilities that can predict EXCP savings based on the system behavior. The Analyze keyword invokes Performance Essential close analyze processing to determine the most efficient type of processing for a particular job. The audit option buffers all ACBs opened under the control of Performance Essential, placing each of these datasets into NSR. More importantly, no datasets are placed in LSR. When each dataset is closed, Performance Essential scans for the existence of multiple strings. If found, Performance Essential updates the control repository, placing this dataset into NSR for all future runs. Audit mode addresses the NSR-LSR non-transparency issue. LSR supports online systems by optimizing direct processing and data integrity while minimizing use of virtual storage. NSR, on the other hand, supports batch processing by optimizing sequential processing and data availability. The stat-only parameter indicates Performance Essential intercepts all record management requests and keeps statistics. It does not include datasets in the LSR pool or modify the buffer allocations of other datasets. This allows you to compare processing with and without Performance Essential. The Application Performance Analyzer, otherwise known as the APA, is a tool that reads SMF information to predict PSP savings, Performance Essential savings. The Application Performance Analyzer uses SMF record types 14, 15, 30, and 64. The analyzer produces a listing of the top candidate jobs. 3 candidate lists are created, one for LSR candidates, one for load candidates, and one for non-VSAM candidates. These lists contain jobs with the biggest potential for performance improvement. Next four slides show actual customer results using their SMF data. On this slide, the analyzer results for VSAM non-load functions are displayed for 3 different systems. The saving in EXCPs range from 70% to 96%. This slide shows the analyzer results for VSAM load functions for the same 3 systems. The savings in the EXCPs range from 86% to 99%. For non-VSAM functions, and for the same previous systems that I mentioned earlier, the analyzer found savings in the EXCP range from 43% all the way up to 76%. The analyzer also produces detailed reports of candidates with job names, step names, program names, and even dataset names. This can help you decide which applications will benefit the most from using Performance Essential. Performance Essential runs on all ZOS mainframe platforms. VSAM and DFSMS DFP are tightly coupled for VSAM batch optimization that will determine and set the parameters needed for I/O tuning. Performance Essential learns how the data is accessed automatically and constantly applies the optimum buffering method to use. VSAM, non-VSAM, and VSAM loads highly benefit using these automated buffering methods. By reducing the number of EXCPs, I/O, CPU, and elapsed times, Performance Essential can help you defer a CPU or MIPS upgrade due to new applications and, of course, a shrinking batch window. Now we'll go ahead and open it up to questions.
Okay, if anyone has a question, thank you very much, Sherry. That was good. We went through a lot of material there. If anyone has a question, please type it into the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and we will answer them as they come in. And we'll just pause here for a minute or two to see which questions come in.
Hey Sherry, this is Jason. We've just got the first question coming in from the audience. It says, I'm in the process of implementing PSP now, Performance Essential. Can you describe the difference between implicit and explicit, and why would I use one or the other?
I can answer that. This is Dinah. Implicit says that PSP is going to take control unless you tell it not to. Explicit says that it will not take control unless you tell it to. And your ways to tell it to take control are when you bring PSP up, you specify whether you want it implicit or explicit. And then you can specify records in the control repository that tell you take control or don't take control. In addition, you can put records or JCL statements in so that you can look at it and see what happens and decide if you want to make a control repository record that will tell PSP to take control or to not take control. And you can bring the system up as implicit and then put records in the control repository that say for this particular job or this particular program or this particular DD name or data set that you do not want PSP to take control, even though you're running in implicit mode. And primarily you would want to start out running explicit so that you say, okay, I want these 10 jobs, 40 jobs, whatever, to run with PSP while I figure out what advantage they're giving me and how much advantage I'm getting. And then you can eventually switch from explicit to implicit. Are there further questions about that?
Thank you very much, Dinah. Here comes the question number 2. How does this compare with BMC's Batch Organized Optimizer or other similar products?
They basically provide the same functions, but PSP does not require that you make any changes to your programs, and it allows you to change things easily by changing the conrep entries or by changing the options that you tell PSP when you enable PSP.
All right. Next question is, how do I determine if Performance Essential will be a good fit for my environment and help our batch processing?
You can run the performance analyzer, which again is going to read your SMF data, and we encourage you to collect about 30 days worth of SMF data, those record types 14, 15, 30, and 64, and then run them through the analyzer. By default, it produces a top 50 candidates list for the different categories, your VSAM functions, VSAM loads, and non-VSAM data sets. From there, you can determine if they are a good candidate or not.
Thanks, Sherry. Another question is this customer is asking, can we show a demo afterwards? I'm sure we can.
You mean today?
Product. It's kind of hard.
Afterwards, I'm sure we'll get in touch with this customer and produce a demo for them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably do something. Yeah.
Yep, I'm sure we can. Yep. The next question is, how can I say if a particular job should or should not be processed by Performance Essential?
Well, that's not a very requires very specific answers based on your jobs. Jobs that are high CPU, high I/O. If you're doing loads, HLP or load will help you significantly. For VSAM, LSR and or NSR processing, that depends on how much of the processing is direct for LSR or sequential for NSR. And if the processing switches back and forth, PSP will put it into NSR, which will probably improve it, even though you won't get the benefits of the direct. Basically, the more I/O you have, the more benefits you're going to get. I mean, that's what it comes to. If you don't have many I/Os, then it doesn't matter how much the other processing of that program is going to be overwhelm the I/O.
You can also run the analyzer against a particular job to see what the results are that you could obtain as well.
All right. Well, it looks like there's no more questions from the audience at the moment, but if you do have any, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. So back to you, Sal.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Thank you, Sherry and Janet and Dinah. That was great. We managed to keep it under 30 minutes, which was a good goal. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. We know everyone's busy. So just to close it out, if you have any feedback on this webinar or you have questions that come to you later on that you want to have answered, feel free to send an email to either Jason Zhang or me, Sal Capizzi, at the email address that you see here, zhang at rocketsoftware.com or scapizzi at rocketsoftware.com. For more information on Performance Essential itself, you can go to our Performance Essential webpage on our Rocket Software webpage, where the web address is listed here. And for more information in general about Rocket Mainframe Solutions, you can just go to our mainframe page here. And we're going to send out these links to you as well. For more information about Rocket Software itself, you can go to our home page, and under our home page there's a contact information page that you can fill out and have someone contact you. As a rule of thumb, it's always the best to reach out to your account executive. If you know who your account executive is, just reach right out to them for anything. And if you are unsure of who your account executive is, then you can go to the contact information page, or you can just contact either Jason or myself. We'll be happy to route you to the right person. And if you'd like to get a copy of these slides before we have the recording posted to the website, just feel free to send an email to either Jason or myself, and we will send these out to you. So with that, again, if you have any more questions that you have that you come to mind later on, feel free to send to us. So with that, we're going to close it out and wish you the very best rest of the day, and thank you for attending. Goodbye.